this is a little story about when I was touring Australia to promote my best-selling book, Talk and Grow Rich. And a few months before I went to Australia, I did my meditation on my visualization, and I very carefully visualized selling so many books in Australia that we'd have to do a reprint in Australia. And I could actually see the printing plant and the Talk and Grow Rich books coming off the printing press. This was at least 2 or 3 months before I flew to Australia. So I was over there in Australia, and we did a big tour of all the major towns and cities. And just coincidentally, when I was in Adelaide, I phoned up the publisher and I said, "Oh, I'm doing some TV, radio, I'm here doing my book." And they said, "Well, you're not going to believe this. The printing press," and I think it was called Griffin Press, "they're running a rerun of your book today. Why don't you go down to Griffin Press and introduce yourself?" I went to Griffin Press, and sure enough, as I walked through the door, the books, the Talk and Grow Rich books, the reprint was actually coming off the press, and I was absolutely amazed, because 3 months before I had visualised that happening in Australia, but nobody could have guaranteed that that reprint was being done the day I was in Adelaide in Australia. But that's what happened, and as you know, I've written loads of books, but they're all to do with visualization and the power of putting these intense programs in the mind. And the new book, The Eureka Enigma, is all about that, but it's the next level, it's the quantum leap.
So how do we do that?
Well, that's an interesting thing, because you've read about affirmations and visualizations, but this is really getting into the detail of seeing things in advance of them happening, and my real key about the Eureka Enigma is actually impregnating the neurons in the biocomputer. A lot of people they talk about visualization, but they're not creating sufficiently intensely enough to actually create an impression on the neurons at a cellular level. And it's only when you internalize that program it becomes a program in the biocomputer. And we talk about,
so it's more intense,
brighter colours. And the other thing I talk on in the Eureka Enigma a lot is not just visualising things happening, but visualising many ways of making those things happening. So in other words, giving the biocomputer some tools to work with.
To give it
most people just visualise a car or a house, and I say, well, that's good, but you've got to visualise thinking about how you're going to create that, whether they're silly ideas or daft ideas, but actually put some programs in there of how you might possibly create that for yourself. Don't just let the biocomputer do all the work. Give it some programs to work with, whether they're feasible or workable, doesn't matter, but put some programs in the biocomputer to allow your brain feed it more programs of how that could come about. Don't just rely on.
But it doesn't stop it to that. Then it just start thinking, rewiring.
You have to start rewiring it,
and that's why the other day you said that you have your own you're visualizing your next moves now, and you said I'm clearer and clearer.
Yes,
that's why you're starting to have more ideas. Is that what it meant?
Every day they're getting my visualizations for my new book, The Eureka Enigma, are getting clearer and clearer. And as it gets clearer, more speaking engagements are coming in now. 2 months prior to publication, we've got books, things are happening.
But what do you mean by clearer and clearer?
Clearer, I can actually see the vision of me being in front of large groups of people, being on the television, and every day now it's absolutely incredible. Like last night, or yesterday, I did 2 talks for my book, one in the afternoon, one in the evening. When I got home late evening, there was about 8 emails from all sorts of different people booking in even more speaking engagements. It was, and we're still 2 or 3 months away from publication date, and it's just clicking in, and it's because I'm intently visualizing more and more happening, and the clearer it gets, and the more I do, the more it clicks in.
How can people learn more about what you're doing?
Get the book, The Eureka Enigma.
But it's only in September. How about for the ones, the people that...
Shall I show you a picture of it?
Yeah.
There's the book.
We've really cool.
We've got the book.
But that's only out in September.
Yes, it is. But people...
How about in the meantime? Where can they...
They can get a copy from me by emailing me.
Oh, yeah?
Shall I tell you the email?
Yeah.
It's, I'll say it, then I'll spell it. It's topbizguru@hotmail.com. topbizguru ronholland@hotmail.com. Send me an email and I'll send you the details.
Cool.
And people can get a whole load of my books for free from ronhollanddirect.com. And there's previous bestsellers, MP3 downloads, books for free. And it's all
Ron Holland Direct.
Yeah, it's all part of my promotions for the new book, The Eureka Enigma.
You go, Ron. You rock.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
My pleasure.